Israel funds Hamas. That's right. The most popular terrorist organization these days is funded by Israel. Okay, to be fair, it's not everyone in the Israeli government. It's typically this jackass. That's right. Now, you may be thinking, Dr. Matt, that's crazy. Netanyahu funded Hamas? Don't take my word for it. You can just go read Israeli newspapers. Here we got an article by the Jerusalem Post titled, Netanyahu, money to Hamas, part of strategy to keep Palestinians divided. Oh, and by the way, this was printed March 12, 2019, because I know for some of you, this started in October 2023. No. This has been going on for a while. Crazy, right? And let's see, what is he talking about? What is Netanyahu talking about? Let's see here. The Prime Minister said, whoever is against a Palestinian state should be for transferring the funds to Gaza, because maintaining a separation between the PA, Palestinian Authority, in the West Bank, and Hamas in Gaza helps prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state. So for some of you that may not know, Palestine is divided into two separate areas. One is the West Bank, where the more moderate Palestinian Authority is, which they basically work for Israel. They're actually very good relations with each other. And Gaza, where Hamas is basically the government. And as you can see in Netanyahu's own words, funding Hamas is actually not a bad idea, because we can just keep them there so that way they can always be against the Palestinian Authority. That way they can't come together. Let's see, what else do people in the Israeli government think about that? Let's see. We have Israel Benjamin leader, is one of the major parties in Israel, Avigdor Lieberman. He resigned as the defense minister because of this Gaza policy, and he said that the payments are a miserable decision, marking the first time Israel is funding terrorism against itself. This is the defense minister of Israel saying this. This is not me. This is the defense minister of Israel saying that Netanyahu is funding Hamas. Let's see. Let's look at another article here. This one here is Times of Israel. Defense Minister Lieberman again. Netanyahu sent Mossad head general to Qatar, begged it to pay Hamas. This is February 2020. Let's see, what did he say happened? Speaking of Channel 12 News, Lieberman censured Netanyahu for having begged the Qataris to continue supporting a Gaza-based terror group. On Wednesday, 2 weeks ago, the head of Mossad, which is their version of CIA, the head of the IDF Southern Command, visited Qatar on an errand from Netanyahu. They simply begged the Qataris to keep sending money to Hamas after March 30th. The Qataris have said they will not stop sending money on March 30th, Lieberman said. Both Egypt and Qatar are angry with Hamas and plan to cut ties with them. Suddenly, Netanyahu appears as a defender of Hamas, as though it was an environmental organization. This is a policy of submission to terror, he said, adding that Israel was paying Hamas protection money to maintain the calm. This is, and for all those people who support Hamas, who think Hamas is a resistance organization, no. Hamas is a terrorist group that Netanyahu and the people in his government, they use to keep the Palestinians divided and to always have an excuse on why they have to bomb at Palestine. In fact, don't take my word for it. Let's look at what Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich has to say. Let's see here. This guy is a straight-up Nazi. You think Netanyahu's bad? This guy's crazy. He wants to get rid of all the Gazans.
הרשות הפלסטינית היא נטל וחמאס הוא נכס, באותו מגרש בינלאומי. במשחק הזה של הדה-לגיטימציה, תחשבו על זה לרגע, הרשות הפלסטינית היא נטל וחמאס הוא נכס. הוא ארגון טרור, אף אחד לא יכיר בו, אף אחד לא ייתן לו מעמד ב-ICC, אף אחד לא ייתן לו להוביל החלטה במועצת הביטחון, ואז נצטרך וטו אמריקאי או לא נצטרך וטו אמריקאי. אני לא בטוח שלנו היום, שוב, בהינתן שהמשחק המרכזי, המגרש המרכזי שבו אנחנו משחקים עכשיו הוא הדה-לגיטימציה הבינלאומית, שם אבו מאזן מפיל לנו חללים משמעותיים, וחמאס בנקודה הזאת לפי דעתי יהיה נכס. אני לא חושב שאני צריך לחשוש מזה.
Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yes, sir.
I wasn't even planning on this clip to come up. The algorithm is crazy. This is Ron Paul, I think from like 2008 or something. Yeah, I mean, if you support Hamas, you're just as dumb as the people who think that Netanyahu's trying to get rid of Hamas. This is all bullshit. This is all just a game. Now, what really matters as an American, what we should be doing, because our ally, Netanyahu, he is giving money to a terrorist organization to fund terrorism against himself so he can have an excuse to commit genocide and ethnic cleansing. Yeah, that's what's happening here. And don't you think it's bad enough that we have to worry about Iran funding terrorism, funding Hamas? Now I have to worry about Israel. And no one wants to talk about it. You bring it up to the pro-Israeli side, they just don't want to talk about it. They're like, oh, yeah, we funded terrorism against ourselves. Shh. You bring it up to the pro-Palestinian side. Oh, Hamas, they're heroes. They're fighting for resistance. Are you sure? Are you sure they're not being used by Netanyahu as an excuse to keep attacking Palestine? Why is Hamas even holding the hostages at this point? I mean, the IDF clearly doesn't care about the hostages. They're just bombing everywhere indiscriminately. They're starving everyone, including the hostages. In fact, the hostages are really the only reason they can even get away with doing what they're doing at this point. Because they're always going to point to that, oh, we have to keep fighting because of the hostages. I don't know. Part of me maybe starts thinking that maybe Netanyahu has some people inside of Hamas and they're holding on to the hostages. Like he's telling them, like, don't release the hostages so I can keep having the excuse to keep bombing the shit out of Gaza. And people are thinking, really? You think they could be that infiltrated in Hamas? Well, I don't know. What about Eli Cohen? He was number 3 to the presidency in Syria until the Syrians caught him and killed him. And he was a Mossad spy. So I don't know. I mean, if you support Hamas, you have no idea what's going on. If you support Hamas, you're supporting Netanyahu. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing at this point. He himself has just said, I fund them to prevent a Palestinian state. The finance minister just called Hamas an asset. I mean, I don't understand how can you be pro-Palestine and be pro-Hamas? I mean, that's just crazy to me. That's just not thinking. And if you care about Israel, I don't even understand how you could be supporting the Israeli government and what they're doing at this point. Everybody hates them. You think this is really helping your country? Okay, all right. My opinion is that, we should stop giving money to both of these people and let them do what they have to do. But unfortunately, we've been so involved that whatever crap Israel's going to do at this point is just going to come back on us. But I just thought you guys should know the truth about who Hamas really is and who do they really work for.